For years ago, when I married my wife, I didn't just walk into a traditional marriage. I stepped blindly into a fragile, fiercely guarded wonderland meticulously constructed by a vulnerable 7-year-old girl whose entire psychological existence was beautifully, desperately, and utterly intertwined with the magical universe of Harry Potter. It was never just a casual childhood hobby, a fleeting phase, or an ordinary obsession that she would simply outgrow with age. It was her absolute sanctuary, her ultimate emotional comfort zone, and practically the entire core of her identity, proven beyond a shadow of a doubt by the very first question she ever timidly, wide-eyed asked me on the day we were first introduced. "Do you like Harry Potter?" And vividly reflected in her small bedroom, which over the years came to look less like a modern child's room and more like a crowded, chaotic Gryffindor dormitory overflowing with colorful posters, replica wands, official house robes, and detailed maps of the wizarding world. Over the years, this deep, shared passion became our primary emotional bridge, the silent anchor of our developing relationship, allowing a hesitant, nervous stepfather and an incredibly imaginative, sensitive young girl to bond deeply over endless late-night movie marathons, passionate kitchen debates about complex character lore, and intricate plot theories that made her bright eyes light up with an unmatched brilliance. As her milestone 11th birthday began to approach on the calendar, I felt a deep sense of responsibility and knew I had a rare, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create something genuinely unforgettable for her. Because anyone who has ever truly loved that fictional world knows that 11 is the sacred, magical age when a young witch or wizard receives their official, life-altering Hogwarts acceptance letter. I spent endless weeks secretly planning, losing sleep, and meticulously crafting what I truly believed in the depths of my soul would be the ultimate, heartwarming birthday surprise, obsessing over heavy, high-quality parchment paper, staining it slowly by hand with warm tea bags to perfectly mimic centuries of weathered, authentic age, font matching the iconic emerald green ink down to the millimeter, sealing the envelope with a real crimson wax stamp bearing the detailed Hogwarts crest, and even convincing a close family friend to dress up in a highly realistic postal uniform to make a dramatic, unexpected live delivery right in the middle of her backyard party. The entire afternoon had been going like absolute perfection, filled to the brim with the joyous laughter of her school friends, the bright, golden sunshine of innocent childhood bliss, and a profound sense of pride swelling deep in my chest, until the precisely scheduled, heavy knock finally echoed at the front door, and our makeshift mail carrier stepped inside the house to hand her the large, mysterious, official-looking envelope. The exact, agonizing moment her eyes locked onto that distinct wax crest, the entire living room fell completely dead silent. Her breath caught painfully in her throat, and she suddenly erupted into a piercing, glass-shattering scream of pure, unfiltered, ecstatic euphoria, hot tears instantly streaming down her flushed cheeks as she jumped up and down uncontrollably, clutching the letter with violently trembling hands and shouting, "It's real? Oh my God, I knew it was real. I always knew," over and over again with an absolute, unshakable, terrifyingly genuine belief that shook me to my very core. My heart instantly dropped straight into my stomach like a lead weight as I glanced sideways at my wife, whose face had gone completely pale, drained of all color with the horrifying, sudden, suffocating realization that our 11-year-old daughter wasn't just playing along for fun, pretending for the sake of the themed party, or acting excited for a game. She genuinely, with every single fiber of her innocent being, believed that actual magic was real, that a bureaucratic mistake hadn't been made, and that her true destiny had finally arrived to rescue her from the ordinary, mundane world. Before I could even begin to process the staggering magnitude of my mistake, my wife stepped forward with a face masked in pure dread and sorrow, gently putting a comforting, protective arm around our daughter's violently shaking shoulders, and whispered the agonizing, unavoidable truth that shattered the air. "Honey, listen to me, Hogwarts isn't real. It's just a birthday surprise. A beautiful joke your stepdad planned for you to make your day special." In a single, devastating fraction of a second, the brilliant, magical light completely vanished from her eyes. Her radiant, joyful smile crumbled into utter bewilderment, shock, and profound confusion, and as a suffocating, incredibly heavy silence descended upon the entire room of watching guests, she turned her head slowly and looked directly at me with a gaze of absolute, heartbreaking, soul-crushing betrayal, choking out the sharp, agonizing words, "You lied to me," before bursting into violent, uncontrollable, chest-heaving sobs, spinning sharply on her heel to sprint upstairs, and slamming her heavy bedroom door so hard that the entire structural framework of the house rattled. The birthday party died right then and there in an instant. The very air was sucked out of the room as uncomfortable parents exchanged horrified, judgmental glances, quietly gathered their deeply confused children, and whispered awkward, rushed goodbyes until, within 20 short minutes, our entire home became an empty, silent, depressing graveyard of half-eaten birthday cake, abandoned gifts, melting ice cream, and popped balloons. This dismal, quiet setting quickly became the immediate backdrop for a fierce, tearful, screaming argument with my wife, who was absolutely furious, her eyes flashing with rage as she accused me of being utterly thoughtless, careless, and emotionally insensitive for using the one sacred thing our daughter loved more than anything else in the entire world as the centerpiece for what now looked like a cruel, deceptive, and deeply malicious prank. I sat entirely alone in the pitch-dark living room late into the night, hopelessly replaying the entire traumatic scene over and over in my head on an endless loop, deeply haunted by the vivid memory of her face shifting in an instant from pure, celestial euphoria to absolute, total devastation, realizing with a sinking, hollow guilt that despite my innocent intentions to create a beautiful keepsake, I had accidentally shattered her childhood innocence, weaponized her imagination against her, and completely broken her trust in one swift, careless stroke. This morning, a heavy, dark, suffocating cloud hangs over the entire household as she still fiercely refuses to look at me, step into the same room as me, or speak a single word in my direction, and as I stand frozen in the kitchen staring down at the crumpled, tea-stained parchment letter sitting discarded and ruined in the trash can, my stomach completely twists into painful knots with the agonizing realization that the magical, lifelong memory I spent weeks pouring my entire heart and soul into creating has instead become the heaviest, most devastating, and deeply scarring nightmare of her young life.